Orpheus and Eurydice. Hymen, the god of the marriage feast, in his robes of saffron, flew from Crete through the measureless sky to the land of the Thracian Cicones. Orpheus was calling the god to his wedding through all to no purpose. The god attended for sure, but the ritual words, the joyful faces and omens of favor were sadly missing. Even the torch in his hand kept sputtering smoke, brought tears to the eyes but never ignited, however strongly he waved it. The outcome was even worse than foreshadowed. The newlywed bride, while taking a stroll through the grass with her band of attendant naiads, suddenly fell down dead with the fangs of a snake in her ankle. When Orpheus, the Thracian bard, had indulged his grief to the null, in the air above he felt he must also appeal to the shades and dare to descend to the river Styx through the Tenarian gateway. Making his way through the shadowy tribes and ghosts of the buried, he came to Prospina, throned beside the Lord of the Shadows, who rules the dismal domain, and plucking the strings of his lyre, he began, "You powers divine of the subterranean kingdom, where all of mortal creation must one day sink to our doom. If you will give me permission to tell you the truth unvarnished by shifty pretenses, I've come down to explore the murky regions of Tartarus, nor to enchain the three-headed monster, Medusa boar, the dog whose coat is bristling with adders. I'm here in search of my wife, cut off in the years of her youth, when a viper she trampled discharged its venom inside her ankle. I'd hoped to be able to bear my loss and confess that I tried, but love was too strong. The god is well known in the world above, and I wonder whether you know him here. I divine that you do. If rumor has not invented the tale of the old abduction, you too are united by love, in the name of these confines of fear, in the name of this vast abyss, in your realm of infinite silence. I, Orpheus, implore you, unravel the web of my dear Eurydice, early passing. We all are destined for you. We may tarry a little bit, but sooner or later we speed to our one habitation. This is the place that we all are bound for, our final dwelling, Hades. And yours is the longest reign that the human race must endure. Eurydice, too, when her due of years has been ripely completed, shall own your sway. Till then, I beg you to let me enjoy her. If fate forbids you to show my wife any mercy, I'll never return from Hades myself. You may join in the deaths of us both." As Orpheus pleaded his cause, enhancing his words with his music, he moved with the bloodless spirits of tears. For a moment, Tantalus seized to clutch at the fleeting pool. Ixion's wheel was spellbound. The vultures halted their pecking at Tydeus' liver. The Daenids dropped their urns, and Sisyphus sat on his boulder. The Furies' hearts were assobbed by the song, and story goes that they wept real tears for the first time, the king and queen of the world below, before to refuse such a moving appeal, and they summoned Eurydice, leaving the rest of the ghosts who have newly arrived to slowly trail along on her wounded ankle. Orpheus was told he could lead her away on one condition: to walk in front and never look back until he had left the Vale of Avernus, or else the concession would count for nothing. In deadly silence, the two of them followed the upward slope. The track was steep, it was dark and shrouded in thick black mist. Not far to go now, the exit to the earth and the light was ahead. But Orpheus was frightened, his love was falling behind, he was desperate to see her. He turned, and at once she sank back into the dark. She stretched out her arms to him, struggled to feel his hands on her own, but all she was able to catch, poor soul, was the yielding air. And now, as she died for the second time, she never complained that her husband had failed her. What could she complain of except that he loved her? She only uttered her last farewell, so faintly he hardly could hear it, and then she swept once more to the land of the shadows. Robbed of his wife all over again, poor Orpheus was stunned, like the terrified person who once caught the sight of a three-headed hellbound, Cerberus, chained by the middle neck, and whose fear never left him until his nature changed and the stone crept over his body. Or poor Lethra, transformed to stone for her pride and her beauty, whose husband Olenus took her offense on himself and hoped to be changed in her place. Two hearts that were once united in love, and now are separate rocks on the snowy heights of Mount Ida. Orpheus wanted to cross the Styx for a second time, but his pleas were in vain, and the ferryman pushed him away from the bank. So he sat in the rags for a week without eating a morsel of food. His anguish, his grief, and his tears were all that kept him alive. Cursing the gods for the dark and cruel unkindness, he finally took himself back to Rhodop's heights, and so wincept Hymus. Three years went by, with the sun god Apollo traversing watery Pisces. To mark their ending, Orpheus now would have nothing to do with the love of woman, perhaps because of his fortune in love, or he may be plighted his troth forever, but scores of women were burning to sleep with the bard and suffered the pain of rejection. Orpheus even started the practice among Thracian tribes, turning to love for immatures, and of plucking the flowers of spring before he has come to his manhood. In summary, what we have here is a romantic tragedy of Orpheus, the poet, bard, demigod, who later becomes a follower of Dionysus. The Orpheus mysteries are tied together in this way. This is from Ovid Metamorphoses. Gripped with the reality of his wife dying from the bite of a snake at a young, ripe age, he tries to go to Hades to get her out, and they actually try to give him they play a game with him and say, you can have her, but you can't turn around, you have to walk backwards on your whole way out. And he tries to do this and fails, and that's it. It just ends like that. Very dark, tragic, romantic story. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.